With ETH's underperformance, we have to remind ourselves in the world of crypto, patience always wins the race. What's going on, Scoutbacks Legends? Hopefully you guys had a phenomenal week. I want to share with you a couple ideas for ETH as we are still unraveling this thought in Q1 that we hit our lows for the year, then it's up only. I still believe that we're going to be touching into those 2,700 handles. That is going to be essentially the life support, if you will, for this year. I feel like if we go any lower, we could have some invalidation. So let's not get too carried away. Let's actually dive into the charts and discuss this a little bit more. So I want to look at basically a clean chart just so you guys have an idea as far as what my thought process is. At the end of the day, I believe we're inside of a wave 4. That wave 4 could bottom out at the 2714, 2767, somewhere inside of that 2700 handle, maybe even upper 2600 handles like 2689. Now, you can look at this from different strategies. If you're a pattern trader, if you're a harmonic trader, if you're a smart money concept, there's so many different strategies that are out there that I'm privy to. But in this scenario, I'm looking at this as a contracting triangle for wave 4, and from a basic formation strategy chart patterns, a falling wedge. And really what we're looking for on both of those spectrums, whether it be a contracting triangle or we actually have a falling wedge, we're looking for at least 5 touches. Very similar, a harmonic pattern would also require 5 swing points. So there's several different strategies that you can layer on top of each other for confluence. But what I'm looking at is I believe that the move that we had just today over the last couple of days, really towards the end of this week, I believe those moves to the upside was creating that fourth hit in the sense of touches when we're looking at wedges. When we're looking at a contracting triangle, I believe that was the 4th swing point. When we're looking at harmonic patterns, I believe that was the 4th swing point. So all signs point towards creating this new swing, which essentially would give us a lower low. If you look at how the patterns are set up, we have lower highs and then we have lower lows. So those are the ingredients for falling wedge. Those are ingredients for a contracting triangle. If we look left, just so we can base our thesis off of past data, something to actually go off of, we can see when that occurred last, when we had something very similar to that. And you can actually mark one off over here as well too, but I think this one had a little bit more of a dramatic effect. And essentially that's what we're looking for. You see, this falling wedge was created from a move to the upside. Then we had 1 hit, 2, 3, 4, just shy of that trend line, but it's still a swing point, still a pivot point. And then we had 5. So this was the 5th one. I'll mark that out for you so it's a little bit easier to see in the sense of moves. So we had 1, 2, I'll fix that. And then 5. Let's go ahead and clean that up a little bit. And let's move this up over here. All right. So we're looking for something similar to this right over here. Now, this did have a pretty big breakout to the upside and then slow chop to the right. And then obviously we had a massive dump, retracing an entire pump, even down from inception over here. When this pump began, it pushed us all the way back down into the 2K handles. Could that happen down the road? Yeah, but if I'm being optimistic and having hopium and based on ETH's underperformance, and having those patience, as I was saying before, then we bounce somewhere inside this level right over here, and then we move to all-time highs. Now, one of the catalysts that I'm focusing on for that to happen is going to be USDT. I'm gonna flip over to USDT. I'm using a unique time frame, using a 2-day, but you can see the same levels on a daily. I won't dive too much into the rabbit hole for this because I've said this in previous videos. You could always watch back and see how this was unfolding, but just pointing your attention towards this area, this blue box, essentially that's an order block that's been tapped into since last year, March of last year. So we're going a full year round trip on this, still tapping into those levels. What you really need to be seeing here for USDT is for USDT to sink if you anticipate for ETH to go higher. Now, I showed you before that ETH is inside of this pattern. So the next logical move for this move to actually be valid would be a move to the downside, right? To where this wave E would be presenting itself, right? Give us that 5th touch. And for that to occur, we would want to see that USDT is in a position to move up. Well, the first thing that it's looking for is to make sure that it has established support. That 3.73, 3.8, 3.9, anything with the 3 in front of it for USDT finds support very quickly, and then it just starts to stall out. all it's really going to take is a couple big legs to the upside. USDT could do this in 4 sessions, really, or 2 sessions, just based on how big of those moves and those candles can get for USDT. We already tapped into this 4.55 level. So if we are going to go higher for ETH and lower for USDT, this bottom area, this bullish order block down where this blue level is, it needs to break. It just has to break. If we are going to go higher, then the logical sense would be saying we're still inside of a wave 4. We're going to go higher than 0.382 because that was the first option. We top out at 0.382, then we start to move lower. We're not moving lower. So if we're going to go higher, how much higher are we going to go to USDT? Are we going to go to 0.5 or are we going to go to 618? Going to a 0.5 wouldn't make the most sense from a psychological level and also based on how Elliott wave thesis is designed. Essentially, it really had 2 cases here. Either we fall flat, which is 0.382, which is shorter than the 0.5, or we go sharp for wave 4, meaning that wave 2 was at flat levels. 0.382 and 0.5, these are flat levels. 6.8, 0.76, 0.88, even to 0.95 if you need to. Those are sharp levels. So you're not going to have 2 flat correction waves, and you're not going to have 2 sharp correction waves. It's going to be in contrast of each other. So wave 2 being flat, this would set up for wave 4 to be sharp. And so that's why I was saying USDT has to make 2 decisions. If it continues to build support here, it is going to have a massive leg to the upside, and it's going to surpass 4.828. It should be coming into this 618 area, which is right around 5.08, and there's a fair value gap that sits right in that area. So there's some imbalance. We know what happens when price action gets into that imbalance. It has really 2 choices at that point: either flip it into support in this case, or it acts as a point of rejection. And I think that would be a good level for ETH to go to test out those levels, meaning USDT going to that order block and ETH going down to those 2,700 handles. I want to flip back over to what our current setups are right now for ETH. We are short from that 3740 handle that we took almost 2 weeks now. So if you guys are still holding, I tip my hat to you. I think it's a good swing position to hold until we get towards the later parts of Q1, towards the end of February, maybe even towards the end of March. Who knows what's going to occur? We've had a lot of economic news and fundamental news this week ever since the presidency started for Donald Trump. So we've had a lot of pro-bullish news this week. I'll give you guys some cliff notes inside of the description in case you missed it. But overall, that news is not outweighing some of the technicals that need to play out for ETH. So that leads me to believe that we could have more of a slower bleed going into the remainder of Q1. And if we go into Q2, that's when we start to see recovery and real impulsive moves. That being said, if you're looking for any positions, I'd be looking to scalp my longs, because longs are not horrible, but they're good for scalps and intradays. I would definitely be looking to start building shorts inside of these fair value gaps that sit right around 35.13 all the way up to 36.78 inside that realm. We did have targets of 35.94 to be tapped into, but we actually came shy of that, and we were right inside of these levels, 35.20. As I mentioned before, if you guys are still inside of that 37.40 call that we made a couple weeks ago, I tip my hat to you. Hold on to that position. Do take some profits for your hard work, because it has been some time. I'm looking for ads, and I'll be giving those calls inside of the trading tournament corner, as well as my corner as well, for your guys' discussion. We do have a couple things coming up in the weeks to come. Actually, in the next 27 days, we will be launching the ScalpX Academy. I'm looking forward to you guys being in there that want to take their strategy to a new level in the sense of discipline, not just being profitable, but being a consistent, profitable trader. So there's more to the technical aspect of it. There's more to the psychological aspect of that. And that's where you're gonna have someone like myself that's gonna be working with you on one-on-one coaching throughout the course of the week. You're going to have accountability sessions. This way you hit your targets in the sense of strategy in developing something that you can stick with. And then of course, you're going to have video lessons that you have access to, an entire library, well over 3 hours of video lessons about the strategies that we're going to be discussing, as well as some of the psychology behind the mindset that you need to have when it comes to trading. So I'm hoping you guys take advantage of that. Be sure to check out for this inside of our Discord community. Other than that, Hopefully this information served you well. I'm hoping you guys have a great start to your weekend. Be safe, be profitable, and I'll catch you soon. Peace.